Hi, my name's Gemma Stow, and I'm here today to talk to you about stepping into self-promotion, no more hiding, and the importance of self-promotion when it comes to women's career progression. I want to start off with a question to get you thinking. If I was to ask you what you think the most important factor is to get into the next level, nailing that next promotion, what would you say it was? Because the majority of people I ask will say it's being really good at what you do, obviously. Performance, getting results, working hard, being committed. Those are the things that will get you to the next level. Now, while that's really important, obviously being really good at what you do, there's another piece to this puzzle that's really important too. Now, Coleman found in his research that actually performance only accounts for 10% of overall success when it comes to the next level. So the other 90%, can you guess what that is? Maybe you already know. But it's about visibility. He found it was image and exposure. But when I work with women, we look at visibility. And this is what links to the importance of self-promotion. Now, the trouble with this is that research also finds that women are not as great at promoting themselves as men are, okay? And I've done some research recently in a white paper that I've put together, which found that 86% of people who are involved in that research really struggle when it comes to self-promotion. And what do I mean when I talk about self-promotion? Well, what I mean is it's not just about blowing your own trumpet, bragging, showing off, as a lot of people see it. They see it as a really dirty word, self-promotion. It's often seen like that, when actually it's much more than that. It's about you owning your expertise. It's about being confident with the work that you do. It's about being able to talk about yourself and what you've achieved in those successes. It's about connecting with people, networking, raising your profile as the expert that you are to raise that level of credibility. You've probably heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And in one way, this is what I'm talking about. Now, I honestly am a firm believer that, you've got to be good at what you do to be able to get to this next level of raising your profile and visibility. There are many reasons why women hold back and hide from, putting themselves in the spotlight. For one, they probably just want to avoid that. I mean, if you're anything like me, I'm a proud introvert, and putting myself in the spotlight is really difficult, and I don't often want to do that. So I understand if you feel like that, or it might just be that you don't like talking about yourself. A lot of feedback I have is that women just feel like they just hate that feeling of talking about themselves, of, worrying about what people think of them. And we do this a lot. And I think there's also, when we see other people who really love it, they really love talking about themselves, right? Maybe you've done one thing and they've done it 10 times better. And I guess it's this kind of behavior that puts us off. Because let's face it, we do care what people think about us. But there's never been a more important time to step into your spotlight in a way that feels good to you and build your own self-promotion strategy. This is crucial. If you're ambitious and you want to get to the next level, or you want to nail that new job in a different company, whatever it is you're looking at for your career, building a personal brand and being more visible to raise your profile is crucial. Now, there's loads of reasons why women hold back, and I think it's really important to just touch on that a little bit, because you might resonate with some of those things. Because when we realize things that are holding us back, we can then do something about it, and we can notice it more, pay attention to it, and change it. There's a few reasons why women hold back. Perfectionism, waiting for the right time. There's that thing of, I talk about this on this then that trap, and it's fallen into this trap of I can't do this until I've done that. And women do this a lot, and waiting for that right time. Is it ever going to be the right time to step out of your comfort zone and go for something new and put yourself out there? Probably not. So there's no better time than now. There's other things around, not accepting individual praise. I see this a lot with women who are leaders, manage teams, manage projects, and talk about we, which is a great quality to have. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing as a leader to be able to do that. But also, to be able to own the parts that you play, you know, take responsibility of what you've done and showcase that and talk about that. People pleasing is another one, and overthinking. Women do this a lot, you know, when it comes to making decisions. We almost talk ourselves out of things and convince ourselves we're not quite ready. I'm sure you've heard the research of, you know, when job opportunities or promotions come up, and there's the criteria, and women look at the 10 criteria and know that they can do 8 out of 10 with their eyes closed, but the other 2 they're not quite sure about. So, you know, convince themselves they need to go off and get more training or more qualifications before they can apply for that job. Whereas men, on the other hand, might look at the same criteria and think, well, I can do 5 out of 10 and I'll just learn the other 5 on the job, and they go for it. And who's losing out? You know, the companies are losing out, the women are losing out, and they're not getting the right people, the best people for those positions. So it's about you owning your expertise and not undervaluing it. You know, Sheryl Sandberg talks about this a lot, that women often underestimate their own capabilities. It's almost like we arrive at the point we're at and we forget everything that we've ever done, all our experience, our skills, and it just goes out the window. When actually it's about reminding yourself of that, and we don't do that enough. So taking some time to review and look back and reflect on just how far you've come and everything that's brought you to where you are right now. So I wanted to just share with you 3 things for you to think about when it comes to visibility. If you're keen to get to that next level, keen to raise your profile, your credibility, there's loads of different ways you can do it. And there's so many different strategies that will work differently for different people. Like I've already mentioned, you know, introversion. I work with a lot of introverted female leaders who don't want to do things in the way that they say other people are doing it. They don't want to be in the spotlight. They want to do it in their own way. And of course they can, but it's just about exploring different ways for you. Lots of strategies out there, but I just thought I'd give you 3 things for you to think about that would be really useful right now. The first thing is for you to get really clear on what you really want. And that sounds so simple, yet when I ask women that, what do you really want? Their answer normally is like, actually, I'm not sure. And it's such a simple question, but it's huge, really, isn't it, in the grand scheme of things? So getting clear on what you really want, especially when it comes to your career. What is it you want? Where do you want to go? What goals have you got in place? And then looking at your values. You know, values are so important. To me, they're the foundation of everything. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but actually all it means is what matters most to you. And once those are aligned, then it will make visibility so much easier. The second thing is about connection. Now, I talk about networking a lot. And as I work with more introverted female leaders, they often say to me, Gemma, I hate networking, or it just makes them cringe, the thought of networking. And that might be because they've had bad experiences with maybe traditional types of networking. But now we've got, you know, the internet and online platforms, and it makes it so much easier. But what I often say is, if networking to you is a word that makes you feel really uncomfortable and just think about having to, you know, talk about yourself all the time, flip it, change that word from networking to connecting. And it makes it so much easier, don't you think? Because we all love connecting with people. And it doesn't mean you have to go to events face to face or online. It can be as simple as reaching out to individuals. So think about how you best connect with people. You know, is it at events? Is it online? Is it, you know, through a coffee, a virtual coffee? Is it, you know, through emails, writing? Whatever it is, do more of that, but do it with purpose, you know. Think about who you want to connect with and why. That's really important to get clear on that. And the third thing I want you to think about is stories. Now, stories are such a great way, and not really, it doesn't make you feel that uncomfortable. They're a great way to showcase what you can do. So start thinking about some mini stories that almost take you through things, experiences you've been through and results you've got and successes you've had. Turn them into a short story that you've got in your back pocket for that next meeting, or, you know, a next chance where you meet with someone and you don't know where the opportunity is going to lead to. But it's really important because people always remember stories. And if you can practice a story, it almost becomes more natural to talk about that. So if you almost cringe and feel really awkward and uncomfortable at the thought of being more visible, then you're not alone. But it's really important to try and find your own way of being able to do that, especially if you're ambitious and you want to get ahead. Visibility is crucial, and being able to build that self-promotion strategy so it suits you and it can actually feel fun. I promise you, it doesn't have to be something that you always push out of your comfort zone. What about looking within your comfort zone? You know, I get my clients to do this all the time and do small steps from there. What are you really good at? Writing, do more writing, write articles for business industry magazines, or maybe you love talking, you get on some podcast interviews. You know, there's so many things you can do, but first up, look at what you love to do. What are your strengths, and use your strengths to your advantage. So there's never been a more important time for you to use your voice, step up and be seen and be heard, you know, stand apart, because that's what it's all about, you know, getting ahead and progressing in your career, showing people the value you bring. So self-promotion isn't a dirty word, you know, it's never been a more important time to use it to get ahead. It's crucial. So it's time to start waving your flag. No more hiding, be more visible, because it takes more than performance alone. Thanks.